Mesh, and welcome to Westworld Season 2, Episode 2 Recap and Breakdown. So this video won't be heavy on the theories, because amazingly enough, after 2 episodes in to Season 2, I already have enough content, theories and questions to make a separate theories video. So I aim to release a recap breakdown video as soon as possible after the episode, then stew on the content for a few hours, maybe 24 hours, then release a short theories video the next day. That's my current plan anyway. So now on to the actual show content. So going forward, this will contain spoilers if you've not seen episode 2 yet. So the show really did jump around this one. So we have multiple timelines and big time skips also, very similar to season 1, how that used to work with younger William and the older William. So let's start with Arnold and Dolores. What a cryptic opening scene. So we're seeing these characters in what we're led to believe is the real world. To add more to, I guess, the time and date around this scene, Arnold points out that his son is still alive. Or perhaps not. I mean, he could be dealing with, there could be denial on his point, he could be delusional, but we've already seen this type of thing before with this character. I don't think they'll go down that road again at the moment, so I'm going to say that his son probably is alive at this point, so that makes it a very, one of the oldest scenes that we've actually had. So the conversation seen multiple times with Dolores here, very powerful, very intriguing. And we see as well Dolores reaches her limitation and starts repeating herself. I thought that was quite amusing. And remember this being one of the first times, the conversations with Dolores and Arnold. She's not as advanced as we see her later on. And it was just interesting to see that she kind of reached that point and Arnold's like, okay, this is enough, let's get out of here. So we had some very interesting lines from Arnold as well. I like one where he's describing his perception of the city's horizon, and he says, doesn't look like anything at all to me. And if you remember, that's one of the lines his replica, or Bernard, said frequently in season 1 when confronted with reality issues. And that could roll on to a bigger question around their current situation and reality and what that city is, but let's not go there with this recap video. Another few things as well that I thought was interesting was Arnold's real kind of nihilistic attitude of, we're not the ones that deserve this. And maybe that's something he's instilled within Dolores from the get-go, and maybe that's one of the drivers that we're seeing with her. Just thought that was quite interesting, how even before his son died, he had this attitude. Then we see Arnold and Robert. What's happening here is, in my opinion, is they're getting ready for the demonstration to Delos, to get them to invest. So once again, this is a historic timeline. But we get Logan and William. This is a merging of timelines, so Dolores and Robert. Even though we don't see Robert and Arnold interacting, it is the same event. What we're led to believe anyway. So we're seeing Logan and William collide with Dolores. This is before Logan and William entered the park in season 1. So this whole scenario is obviously the pitch to try and get them to invest. So we see William in a much more kind of sheepish behavior. Remember, he's not been to the park yet, so that whole scenario hasn't unfolded. We see Logan in control, running the business. Great scene, really, really fantastic. And I loved it as well when he says, to get full endorsement, prove it. And at that point, the whole scene just changed. Very menacing, very ominous. And I thought it was a fantastically creepy line as well. Delivered amazingly by Logan there when he was saying, we're not here yet, in reference to how far technology has come. I thought that was amazing. I really did I think it was very powerful. Then keeping with these characters. So we'll jump forward. So once again, keeping with Logan, William, and Dolores in this external kind of environment of them purchasing the park. So we see William visiting the park. So bear in mind, this is when Logan has been mentally destroyed and William has taken command. So this is after they've been to the park and after the events in season 1 have unfolded. So we see that William is kind of running the show, and he's trying to get that confirmation of financial backing from Logan's father or his father-in-law. So then the father pretty much says no. So at that point as well, once again, a fantastic kind of references to our situation with social media I thought was very interesting. So William explains the whole data capture angle, the guests, what people want. Here, they're free. No one is watching, no one is judging. Well, that's what we'll tell them. The only place in the world that you'll get to see what people really are. As soon as he said that, Mr. Delos, whatever you want to call him, he really changed his mind and thought, okay, we've got something here. Then we see a scene that is within a short time after that point. So after the investment is, they've invested, we see them having a bit of a retirement party for William's father-in-law there, or Logan's father, and we see Dolores is there as well on the piano. She sees him, she sees William, and she has that affection for him and he for her, but then obviously there's the whole scenario which is broken down of, it has now changed into a very strange situation for William. Almost that love that he said he had has now turned into something else, almost a hatred, if you will. But anyway, we see a bit more information about Mr. Delos there, how he seems to be near death, he's retiring, he may be terminally ill, so this is the retirement party. It's funny as well, he's saying, is this like a coronation? So this is William taking the Delos crown. Well, we also see Logan, which is really cool to see him. So this is the only time we've seen Logan after the events that unfolded in Season 1. I often wondered what did happen to him. Now we kind of know he's back into the real world, but it seems that he is pretty much humiliated, almost seems to be shamed out of his family. He seems to be addicted to a substance there. We don't know exactly what it is because we just see like a 6 injection point thing in his arm. But he did say some interesting lines as well, which I can go into in the theories video around the fools of fiddling, whilst the whole species is starting to burn. It's really interesting, and then he also said that they lit the match. So, there's so many things about the external world that we're learning in this episode. It's really good. So then skip forward to William talking to Dolores. At this point, you would say probably a couple of months in advance, where Delos has taken control of the park because William is within the refurbishment area, switching on Dolores. And then he says, once again, very interesting lines here. He's creating something. So there is an answer here to a question no one has even dreamed of asking. And then we see him, show her the sculpting of the river or the mountains, whatever's going on there. It's very hard to actually see what is happening with those big machines there. They're either covering something up, or they're making something, or moving the dirt out of the way. But yeah, that combines with some more stuff, which I'll cover in the theories video. So now onto the final 2 story arcs I want to cover here. So much more simplistic in what actually they did in this episode, but the motives are great theory discussion. But this is a quick recap. So both of these storylines or arcs are post the uprising. Okay, so let's start with Dolores and Teddy. So Dolores showing the underground station to Teddy. So Sector 19 remote refurbishment outpost to be exact. So she shows him previous iterations of himself dead and really trying to wake him up, trying to get him to understand what they're dealing with. This still doesn't seem to work. I mean, he seems to understand, but he doesn't seem to accept it. We also hear the defense protocol that they're going to have to deal with. Dolores is going to have to deal with to try and escape. So Dolores is, her and her band of troops are going to be up against possibly 800 soldiers. So Dolores wants to recruit, so she sees the corpse of the Confederale. They turn that guy back on to send him off to try and start the recruitment. And then eventually they do recruit some soldiers there by a crazy way, but it works. And then they go on to the Colonel's location to try and recruit some more. And now this is the point where Dolores also mentions something which ties in with what we saw before. So there's a weapon that she's talking about, and that ties in with William's. He made something, and now this ties in with the Man in Black as well, but I'll cover that in a bit. So one other point I want to mention about Dolores as well is when she met up with Maeve in this episode. I thought it was a really fantastic scene. So I thought initially that they would be working together, but it looks like they may not be, as funny as that sounds. So yours is the only way to fight. Feel free to command everyone else. And I really assumed that they'd be on the same page, but definitely not by the look of it. And it's an interesting concept, right, around freedom. So you're free to fight with me. But then she was kind of saying, well, I'm free to choose not to fight with you in a way. And it was a really catch-22. I thought it was very cool. And also what she said to Teddy as well. I thought that he seems to be on the same page as Maeve, if anything. But yeah, interesting characters. I wonder if they'll team up and fight together, or if they're going to be opposing each other. Okay, now on to the final one, which is the Man in Black. So old William. So this is the same timeline as Dolores, roughly the same anyway, post the uprising. So we see the Man in Black reunited with Lawrence. So they go about recruiting an army for himself as well. But ultimately, Roberts puts a stop to that. So he goes to recruit, and then from the grave, Robert stops it all. which is very interesting. I don't know how he managed to do that. And you know, the lines that came out of the host was, "This game was meant for you, William, but you must play it alone. I will see you in the valley beyond." And that was the place where William said, "The place is my greatest mistake," which is also a reference to Dolores' weapon, and it's also to his previous scene where he was younger and he was making something. That all ties in, I believe. I'll go into that in the theories video. But yeah, that's a very interesting scenario. What's going on there? What did he make that is now his greatest mistake? What does Dolores know about that area? So there's many options what that could be, I think. So that's probably the main story arcs there in a nutshell. So the show does a really amazing job at creating that mystery and that perplexity and suspense. Great episode, many momentous scenes. I really have come away with so many questions. And that's why I aim to do another video, really to condense them questions and theories and get it out there. So if you have some theories you want me to try and include, chuck them in the comment section here and I'll try and read them and chuck them into my video I do next. But yeah, if you like this content, thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe for future content. And until next time, this is Mesh, and I'll see you later.